So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Hisuian Avalugg. I was very ready to just write this off as a terrible Pokemon because you never see the regular Avalugg, so why would you see this one, given that Ice and Rock is probably a worse typing than Ice is. But there's a couple of things that Hisuian Avalugg does have going for it. This is literally one of the best Dragonite Chien-Pao counters that we have, because it has such a high defense stat, and it resists the extreme speed. Like, for reference, extreme speed from Terra Normal Dragonite is a 4-shot on Avalugg. There's very few Pokemon that can say that they can have that going for it. It's very strong as well. Like 127 base attack is very reasonable. Its special defense is abysmal, but patch it up with the Assault Vest. Then you're basically sorted. And the fact that you got Ice and Rock as a terrible typing, Terra solves that. You can just go for Terra, like I mentioned with the Glastria, you can go for Terra Electric, have the Bolt Beam coverage, and you are sorted. If Glastria didn't exist, I would have given this an A. Like, if Glastria wasn't in the format, you should probably use Glastria instead. This has just a couple of things going for it over Glastria, but for the most part, use Glastria. But if that didn't exist, this would have gotten A. Because this, I think, is actually going to be incredibly reasonable. So, don't use Mountain Gale, because its strongest attack it has, Ice-wise, going for it. But 85% is not worth it. That's pretty inconsistent. So, Strong Jaw is actually reasonable, because it boosts Ice Fang. Like, Ice Fang is its strongest attack that it can go for, which is quite funny. Initially, I was just going to give it Ice Spinner, but Ice Fang gets boosted, so it's basically as strong as Mountain Gale. It only just undercuts 100 base power, so it's basically as strong, but way more consistent in accuracy, like almost always hitting. 10% chance to freeze, 10% chance to flinch, so you can still flinch like Mountain Gale can. You get to go for Stab, Rock Slide, so you can do some very good spread damage as well. Like I mentioned, Terra Blast, perfect coverage with the Ice Fang. And Heavy Slam just Oko Fluttermings, so then you're basically sorted. Very easy to EV spread this Pokemon. You don't need to invest in defenses at all. It's already sky high. Definitely invest completely in your special defense to patch it up, and invest in your attack to do as much damage as possible. This speed stat is able to underspeed minimum speed Ursalunas, so that you can just underspeed them in the Trick Room. So that's going to be quite nice as well. These are some other alternatives. This is not a recommended moveset. This is just an alternative things you can have on the Assault Vest set, because this, in my opinion, Hisuian Avalugg should absolutely be Assault Vest. There's no other item it should use. But Sturdy is worth mentioning as well. If you don't have Strong Jaw Ice Fang, you can go Sturdy if you do need it, and have Ice Spinner to get rid of some terrains. Rock Blast is able to Oko Chien-Paos through the Focus Sash. If you get at least 3 hits, you're sorted, so then you'll be able to Oko with that. Earthquake is just another way of hitting spread-wise, and Ground is also good coverage with rock-type attacks as well. Your defense is so high that Body Press is entirely justifiable even without Iron Defense. And also, honorable mention as well to Terra Water, because it's also a very good defensive typing that would work well with Terra Blast for the Ice Fang coverage as well. So this is actually entirely reasonable. Like, I was so ready to write this off, but because of Terra, I think that this is a very reasonable Pokemon. If only Glastria wasn't in the format, then I think this would have had its time to shine. But otherwise, really, it should be Glastria. You just use this if you want the massive defense, and you want to be much better against Chien-Pao Dragonite as well. But unfortunately, so close, you should probably use Glastria instead.